Can. All right. We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah?
All right. No worries. Let's see here. So it is on. And just save it for everybody else. All right, guys. How's everyone doing this evening? Everybody seems cheery for, at least it's not raining out today, right? So just wanted to thank everybody for coming out tonight and being part of the community. I sort of give the same speech every week, so I'll try and mix it up a little bit. Other than I'm always, we'd love to see you guys get up here and give a talk. If you're interested in something, chances are there's 5 or 10 people sitting in the crowd that are also interested in it. So we've got some cool stuff tonight, but encourage you guys, book your talks. We love to be a part of the community as a company. I think everybody knows that CloudSpace, we do web and mobile development. So if there's anything in particular that you guys want to see, let us know, let Caitlin know. And other than that, we want to thank you for coming out and enjoy the talks.
Okay, so I do have something special to say, and let me grab it. Sorry, Mike. Okay. So I am looking for Ruby speakers for June, for sure. So if you want to actually give a Ruby talk, it can be very beginner. It can be a little bit more advanced. But between May is kind of iffy. June, I definitely need speakers. So it's always the 4th Tuesday of the month for Ruby. So if you want to give a talk, reach out to me. I'll give you a card tonight. But something that sort of kind of just literally happened before the meetup started, I talked with them on Thursday about it. We are partnering up with IronYard to give out a scholarship. If you are wanting to learn Ruby and you are able to give up 12 weeks of your life to come out as a junior developer, starting in 3 weeks, they are doing another Ruby class. So May 18th. And we are partnering up with them to give away a $3,000 scholarship for their off your tuition to go. So I have a little snippet that I kind of gotta, paraphrase and whatnot, but pretty much, let's see. So the IronYard can't be here tonight. They did apologize that. They were planning on it, but they have a conference for IronYard, so everybody, even students, are over there right now. They're in Atlanta? No, North Carolina. They're in North Carolina, I think, maybe. So they're running their second Ruby on Rails course starting May 18th, and then we're partnering up with them for you guys to get $3,000 off your tuition. So what you're going to need to do is, if you go on their website, which is just ironyard.com/apply, you just have to submit a small 250-word essay on what you would like to build when you graduate from the IronYard. That's it. And then we pick it, whatever. If we like it, then there you go. You will end up winning it. Be creative, kind of have fun with it. There's a lot of goofy people who will be reading them. But yeah, so I'm going to send it out also through the meetup group because I'm a little delusional from class, so bear with me. So yeah, we're doing that, which is exciting. Sorry, that was really brutal. So yeah. Sean, would you like to give your talk now? Because I can't talk for shit today.
Okay.
That's
me every day, so
Flip it out of your chair.
we'll see how this goes.
My first full night of sleep all weekend long was last night. So in 48 hours, I had 3
Me
hours
too.
of sleep. Oh, what's my projector doing?
It wasn't me. The
it
computer
went
went
to
to sleep.
I was like,
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm Sean. My talk is Autonomous Robots with Ruby. An introduction. That's Eric, my coworker. And so we're doing Autonomous Robots with Ruby, an introduction, hopefully. I'm new to Ruby and robots, so this is kind of something I was just interested in and thought, I would have to learn how to do it if I was going to give a talk about it, so here I am. I kind of like the discussion talks more than just present discussions at the end because I'm a semi-novice with both of these, so I know we have more experienced developers in the crowd, Ruby developers, so if I say something stupid that doesn't make any sense, raise your hand and tell me. And if you have a question, raise your hand and I'll just stop and answer it. Okay? So, without further ado, this talk. Okay, I got a text, hold on. My remote is the phone. All right. So, what will you need to start hacking on robots with Ruby? Well, the first two are pretty obvious. You'll probably need a robot, and you'll probably need a computer, right? In this certain scenario, we're using a drone called the Crazyflie, and it requires a few other things. So you might need a soldering iron, and you also might need a USB radio frequency dongle, which is this. Let's get this back in here. And a lot of people might be wondering, why am I using Ruby for programming a robot when there's other integrated programming languages like C or Java or something more suited for this? And while the first answer is, this is a Ruby talk, so we have to use Ruby. And the second answer is, we're only using Ruby to interface with the hardware. So everything is still programmed in C on the firmware of these devices. We're just controlling them autonomously and semi-autonomously with Ruby from the computer. Whoops.
No, Siri, shut up.
Yeah, basically. So, what are we working with? Well, first we're going to be using a framework called R2. I'm not sure if anybody's used this before, but it's basically just a general purpose Ruby interface framework for interfacing with robots. We have a lot of different devices we can concurrently connect to using R2. And the framework itself is based on Celluloid, which is a concurrent pub-sub type of framework. And that's what it uses for its main communication between the different devices. So here are the devices. First, we can do Arduino. Not sure if any of you are familiar with an Arduino, but it's basically like the de facto open source microcontroller platform that people hack on. You can make an autonomous robot with it. You can basically make anything. People make garage door openers. People make, I don't know, other things, license plate flippers, so you can run tolls, you know. You can use R2 with an AR drone, so you can program an AR drone to take off, fly around the room. You can program it. You can program multiple AR drones with the same code, so you can connect to however many AR drones you have concurrently and have them basically like swarm. So what's the fun of autonomous robots if you can't make a swarm, right? This is what we have here. We have a Crazyflie, and it's basically a 19-gram drone that they sell as a kit, and then you basically have to build it. They do have a 2.0, which is no soldering and more expansion ports. This does have an expansion port, but it's very limited in what you can do. The 2.0 has a breakout board on the top where you can add like Arduino parts like sonar sensors, light sensors, cameras, things like that. And people have built Crazyflies that use the camera for spatial recognition and then decide where they are in space that way, which is really cool. I didn't have enough time to do that, so also my expertise isn't that developed yet. So we're just going to fly it with Ruby and make sure it doesn't hit anybody. It can't really do much damage because it's so light, so that's the good news. BeagleBone Black is basically the same thing as an Arduino. It's an open source microcontroller, just a different flavor. Spark is the same thing. You can make a DJ Roomba with R2. So I don't know if you guys have seen Parks and Rec, but that's a reference there. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, watch it because it's funny. But basically, so someone programmed a Roomba to drive around their house and sing Jingle Bells with R2. Don't know why, but you know, I don't know. Leap motion, I'm not sure if you guys know exactly what leap motion is, but it's basically like a laser sensor that sits on your desk and allows you to control objects with your hands, like Minority Report. So you could get a bunch of these, build a script in Ruby that concurrently flies them based on your hand gestures, which is probably very dangerous and inefficient, but it's still possible. So we have that option. We have the technology. I'm not sure if you know what a Sphero is, but it's basically a little plastic robotic ball that uses gyros inside of it to just roll around wherever you want it to. It's pretty durable, and it has multicolored LEDs inside of it. So if you wanted to make like 100 robotic LED balls just drive around, you could do that. A lot of this stuff is pointless, but it's cool. So that's what we're into right now. And then a Pebble. I think everybody knows what a Pebble is, the watch. So you could probably use that as a controller to control any of these devices I've just listed, which also seems dangerous but fun. Neurosky is basically it reads electrical impulses from your brain. It was on Kickstarter, and it actually interfaces with this. So supposedly you can control a drone with your brain, but I have yet to see that. It's a claim. And then console controllers. Here we have an Xbox controller. We'll get to this later. It's not exactly autonomous, but it's cool. So we'll save that for the end. Let's talk about the robot a little more. Like I said, it's a Crazyflie 1.0. Weighs 19 grams. I crashed it during lunch, and it basically ricocheted off a wall and flew all the way across the office, and it still didn't break. So that's pretty cool. We have spare parts, just in case. Not for you guys, but for the drone. No, this seems like a big enough space. I mean, there's a kill switch, so yeah. I mean, I posted it in the meetup channel on Orlando Devs. So if you didn't see my comment about goggles, you know, too late.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, I brought sunglasses too. It's called the Crazyflie because it's very hard to control. It essentially uses. I'm just letting you guys know. Anyway, that's not really why it's called that, but for me that's what it's called. It uses like a barometer for altitude, but it's like give or take a foot. So we're not going to use that because it's not trustworthy. It's the beginning of the takeover of the robots.
Actually, our Android next month is going to be on Arduino, and there will be a robot.
Yeah, I was originally I was gonna make it with this, but this had to come from China. So I didn't think I was gonna get it, so I was just gonna build an Arduino like TankBot, but I figured that people would like it more if there was something flying around that was exciting. And by exciting, I mean scary. Some of the reasons why I got this is that it's the most hackable drone I could find that was less than $1,000. Completely open source. As I said earlier, there are expansion pins, like a Arduino or something like that, on the drone. The only problem is finding something that fits there because there's only like 8, and they're very tiny. The 2.0 has a breakout board on the top, so it's a lot easier to add hardware to that. And you can also control those hardware add-ons with R2. And you can do that concurrently. So you can, say if you had a gimbal, I don't know how you would get a gimbal on this, but maybe you have an AR drone. You can program the camera to look around or find someone's face at the same time as you're flying the drone with the same work method. And we'll talk about the code later. And as I said earlier, it's too small to really damage anything but your eyes. So if it comes at you, just close your eyes. It shouldn't, but I'm just going to say that. The third reason is it looks cool. It's basically a flying circuit board. The arms on the side are actually part of the circuit board with motor mounts slid over top of them. So it's probably the weirdest circuit board shape ever, but it's also very cool. So that's another reason why we bought this, because it looks cool. Let's code already. R2 makes things very simple. This is very basic Ruby code, so anyone who came here thinking that they would see like a JPL rocket or something, sorry, but you know, this is a meetup, so. R2 runs on Ruby, or it recommends running on Ruby 2.1.4 and above, but you can also run it on JRuby, Rubinus, things like that. Whoops, I'm good at this. Installation's pretty simple. You just take the gems that you need and run gem install R2, gem install R2 Crazyflie in our case, and gem install R2 joystick, which controls joysticks, PS3s, and Xbox 360 controllers. I tried to use a legit Xbox 360 controller, and it wouldn't work, so I had to buy this bootleg one. And it works now. But basically just the core software comes in its own R2 gem, and then anything you need for different devices comes in its own gem. So it has different drivers for everything, because everything has different methods and different APIs. So you can just look it up on their site if you're doing something else. Configuration is pretty simple. They wanted it to be like Sinatra when they designed the framework. So basically as minimal as possible. In our scenario, we only want a connection to one device, which is our Crazyflie. So we use the connection method and then pass in some hashes as arguments. And the arguments are going to be different, obviously, for each device. But you can say if I wanted to connect to an AR drone and a Crazyflie at the same time here, I could just add that connection below the first one and make them supposedly do the same thing. But this guy is so unpredictable, it probably wouldn't happen. The Crazyflie actually has two device drivers for some reason. The drone log driver and the drone driver are two separate things. I'm not sure why, just being honest, but you can receive any type of measurable information that the Crazyflie outputs normally with the drone log device connection, and then the drone is purely for flying and navigation and those types of things. All right, so this says the work block, but it's basically the work method is what triggers the connection to the drone and then triggers the pub sub type of connection and allows you to execute your code on the drone. Everything you do will take place inside of the work method block. And this is basically, you know, we're gonna test the engines, or not the engines, the motors. This isn't engines. We're gonna test the motors for 30 seconds and then stop them. And that's what this code is. But let's see. Yeah, I think I got everything for this slide. So once we've coded that, all we have to do is run Ruby test flight, which is the name of the file that we just created, or do R2 start test flight. I'm not sure why they included R2 start, but they both do the same thing. So we're just going to use Ruby. And, oh yeah, and Crazyflie actually gives you a virtual machine that comes with everything you need to communicate with it and run it. So I recommend, if you get one of these, to use that, because it does have some weird native dependencies that can be tough to install sometimes. So yeah, that's easy. And all you have to do is install R2 on that virtual machine, and then you're good to go, basically. Let's see. So let's try it. I'm just going to set this over here. It's not actually taking off yet. So should I set this over here? The camera can't see, but I feel like it's safer. All right. Huh? Actually, well, I'm just going to set it right here because it's not going to lift off.
So the tripod is actually higher from there.
Yeah, hopefully. So let's see what happens.
There you go.
Cool. All right, so this is very tiny, but for some reason that's how VirtualBox likes to display on high resolution, so we're just going to roll with it. Yeah, probably. Let's see.
I can't remember the thing using Command Plus. Is it Command Plus?
I tried to do Command Plus and it didn't work. Command Shift Plus, nope. We tried. Yep. All right, so let's see. Let's remember what this was. Motor test. Okay.
What would you rather do?
For right now, they can.
Because they can see your presentation, they just can't see you.
Okay, I'll just walk over there. Let's see. The only problem is the kill switch is on the computer, so.
How long does it run for? Like 7 minutes?
Huh?
How long does it run for?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, all right, cool.
It won't hurt you.
Worst case
You just smack it down.
it'll either hit you guys or me.
Yeah, if it hits her, we're fine.
Right.
All right.
You're trustworthy on that one.
Ruby motor test. It's not going to take off. So let's see. Got to turn it on. And then so we're running it. You can see the connection here. Here, hold on. Let's go over there so they can see me.
You can move the cart to you too.
That's okay. So this is the motor test. And it's just that block of code that I showed you in the presentation earlier. And it's just running the motors for 30 seconds. The drone.start method only runs the motors high enough to just test them. It doesn't actually produce enough lift to get the drone off the ground, so that's good. And as you can see, it has built-in firmware that auto-corrects the pitch, so you can see these motors stopping. And it's been 30 seconds, so that's the end of that demonstration. I'll stay over here. Can they see me now? Good.
Probably.
All right, let's go back over here. Okay, so that was just the motors running. Let's step it up a notch, do something a little more scary. First flight, as you can see, I've added the precursor. Ideally, the following, yeah, I'm really good at writing things. Anyway, ideally, the following would fly the nano drone and hover it for roughly 5 seconds. So we can try that. I think there's enough room here to not get killed, so we'll do that. You love me right now, huh?
You know it, 'cause it's probably gonna hit me.
It's facing me, so don't worry about it. Let me go over this real quick. We have the work method here, starting the connection and all of those setup functions, and then we have the drone takeoff, which is the method that takes it off. Obviously, one of the best things about Ruby is its readability, so the developers really followed those conventions. We do have a drone.hover in here. It doesn't really do anything because it fluctuates a foot, so it's just there. And then after 5 seconds, we should land. After 2 seconds, we should stop the motors. Let's point it over there. Take 2. Wrong code. See which one of these is it. I just want to check the code before we start. Yeah, something like that. What's the worst that could happen? Nothing. All right. So let's see how this works. Yep, that is the motor test. Thank you. Any questions so far? No? No, I'm good. My eyes are almost, blind anyway, so just get some LASIK or something.
So with the gyroscope, you could hypothetically have it sit at a certain range, I guess, necessarily. Like when you start it up.
Yeah.
Hover code, you could set it to.
Yeah, I really wanted to build my own hover code. I just didn't have the time to do that, so we're relying on theirs, which is not that good. Crazyfly's hover code is okay if you're just coding straight in C++ or Python, because those are the native APIs for Crazyfly. But as far as the R2 hover function, it's okay. They didn't put as much time into it. This was hover test, right? Oh well, let's do it. Yeah, so that's good. It didn't hit anybody. I thought it was not facing me, so it just has a natural affinity, I guess. Yeah, feel free. You can get right up next to it. You'll get a really good view.
Hover over.
Yeah, hover over the hover. This next one is something that I coded in my office at home because it kept drifting to the right for some reason. This thing's so light that if it's near something, it'll shoot it, to the side because it's generating more lift when there's something underneath it. Obviously, it doesn't have contingencies for that built in, so it's basically a super raw nano drone. Third time's the charm, or the fourth or fifth or sixth time. Let's see. I probably should have moved it. This is a little scarier, but yeah, that's the hover. You turn hover on and it's like, okay, I'll just land again. We can try it again. Hey, it's autonomous, so I didn't lie. Just saying. And now it's flying to Caitlin. This is why I'm at the kill switch. I think we still have a lot of battery left. So the battery is actually pretty good for how small it is and how powerful its motors are in relation to its size.
What's the highest lift you've had from it?
What is it?
What's the highest you've had it fly?
Into the ceiling. So like 12 feet. That wasn't even the highest. It hit the ceiling. It hit the ceiling at my house in about half a second. Throttle up too high. So, and then it shot sheetrock everywhere.
so you're talking about how you're using a controller. How relatively, like, how much control, like, how
It's very.
responsive is it with the
I'm not using a controller yet, but with the controller, which is what I'm about to demonstrate, it's very sensitive. So if you just go full throttle, it's going to hit the ceiling. So the way the controller is set up, it uses the left joystick for power, and it uses the right one for pitch. So if I press up, it'll tilt forward, back, tilt back. They're very sensitive, so you barely have to nudge on it. I mean, I'm going to nudge on it a little bit, and it's going to shoot up, and I'm going to let go for a little bit, and it's just going to drop out of the sky. So it's kind of a work in progress, but
Can you configure that at all?
Yeah.
Is that something that
yeah, it's something I can configure. I just haven't dialed it in, so it's very hard to dial in. But it's fun. So let's go back.
What is this drone called again?
The Crazy Fly. They spelled fly F-L-I-E. It was actually designed by some guy in Sweden, I believe, in his backyard shed, and it just turned into a big thing that everybody was trying to program and hack. So it's pretty cool. I'm going to do the controller demo before we show off some resources. There's some other resources I'll point you to if you want to get involved with this type of thing. Let's see. So this is the code. It's a little more complicated. I can't zoom in because VirtualBox is my best friend.
Try control plus.
Huh?
Control scroll. That works that way.
Control scroll.
Yeah. You might have to turn on accessibility settings for the work.
Let's see, I might be able to.
how it's a little bit-
Settings.
It's Ubuntu, right?
It's kind of, I think it's a distro of Ubuntu, but it's a very like hacked distro. Let's see. Display.
You can just change the resolution of the window itself.
What is this? Trying over here, guys.
What about the view option in the actual version?
In the virtual machine? Let's see.
In the toolbar?
Down.
No.
The
Next
gray
to
toolbar.
find.
Width and
find and go to?
See that one right there? Nope, the little gray toolbar.
Right here?
Yeah. There's a
I don't
view.
think. Show full screen. What is this? Ruler? No, that's word wrap column. What's this? Nope.
You tried.
Yeah, I think this is a. Well, we have a full screen.
Yeah.
I'll post this somewhere.
Yeah, you need to post it on
Yeah.
Meetup. Post it
Yeah,
on-
I'll post it on the meetup, on as like a gist or something on GitHub. I can actually.
We'll post
also-
it right in the comments.
Yeah. Good idea.
'Cause in that way,
Um,
everybody from the group who RSVP'd it
Basically,
can see it.
we only have 3 methods here. We have one that handles the pitch joystick and one that handles the thrust joystick. And then it basically transfers that into the thrust power that we're applying to the Crazy Fly API. The Crazy Fly turned off by itself. And we have the handle hover method where I'm supposed to be able to press X and it hovers, but as you all know, that's kind of iffy. So we do have 2 different devices connected here concurrently from just one R2 file, which is kind of what I'm trying to demonstrate. It's not exactly autonomous, but it gives you an idea of the type of flexibility you can have with the framework. Let me make sure this is on. Woo! Oh, hi Ian. Let's see. I think we have to connect this again. No, these are all connected. Okay. This is a little easier to control. I probably should have unraveled this first, but you know. This is also the semi-dangerous part. I'm not trying to scare you, I promise. As you can see, it kind of like drops out of the sky once you let go for a little bit. And we're gonna land. That's how it lands. Once it gets disoriented from, so like, I have to look at it straight on, otherwise I have no idea what my controls are doing. So if it's like facing me, I'll try to, you know, pitch it right and it's going that way. So. Try to get it away from Caitlin. It's good, it's going away. It's upside down. It's actually RF, so it's running from the radio frequency dongle that comes with the kit. But if you want to control more than one at a time, you can do it through one dongle, and you can do it through R2. So if you buy the first one with the radio frequency dongle and then just buy them separate after that, you can make like a little swarm of uncontrollable robots, and then everybody will run away. Huh? It's supposedly 80 meters, but I would not fly it that far away from myself. Yeah. It would basically just hit a bunch of people.
Is the blue light front part?
No, blue light's the back. Huh? Do a flip? Yeah. It does that by itself. I just don't know when it's going to happen.
How much does that go for?
The whole setup is probably around 180. So
For the drone,
and the I shouldn't look away. And the dongle. The controller is a little bit more, but it's a 360 controller, so it shouldn't be too much. Yeah, it's like $20, something like that.
If you get up high enough, hit that X button, will it actually kind of stay in the air when it's on the floor?
Nope. Yeah. Yeah, the hover feature is great. Yeah, it hovers when it's at 0 altitude.
Ian just said blue is the back. Which kind of witchcraft is that?
Yep.
It should be the back.
You can kind of just let it drop out of the sky and it doesn't really get hurt because it doesn't have any force hitting itself. So that's kind of cool.
Does it ship with extra parts?
Yes, it does. It ships with an extra motor and 5 extra propellers. Yeah.
They know.
They were like, wait a second.
They have confidence.
Yeah, they know what's going on. All right, let's finish this up. All right, so I wanted to show you guys a demo of it programmatically, of R2 programmatically flying an AR drone. So let me find that. I'm really prepared and didn't find it. So. Do we have sound on the projector?
No.
Okay, no
I have
sound.
speakers. It's through your laptop, but I have speakers too. Oh, we do.
Oh, we do. So this is the same type of code, just hovering an AR drone. The AR drone's hover mode works a lot better than the Crazy Flies.
That's the quadcopter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Parrot AR drone. It's not the Bebop though. I don't recommend getting the Bebop because I got one and took it back.
They play with those a lot.
The firmware that ships with the Bebop isn't very good, and it kind of like sometimes I've heard of people's drones just flying like 300 feet up in the air and then cutting out, and you're out $500. So the Bebop is not very polished yet. At least if I do that with this, it might not even get damaged. So might not. And if it does, it's not $500. And then R2 has an API like built into it. So this is exactly what it sounds like. If you wanted to make a REST API that controls your robot, you can totally do it with this. I haven't tried it yet because I feel like I would hit myself in the face. But it's definitely there, and it's just r2io/documentation/guide/API. So if you guys want to try it out, let me know how it goes. I'll probably try it out in the future, but I haven't tested it yet. So I can't vouch for it.
Is this the first time you've programmed with like the possibility of actual physical harm?
Yes,
How does that feel?
fun. I've actually built a robot in the past, but I didn't program it. It was a little robotic arm, but it didn't really have the possibility of hurting people anyway because it was stationary. So, yeah. The Gort CLI is a command line interface that interfaces with really popular open source stuff. So like the Arduino, this. It basically allows you to skip all of the software that they try to shove down your throat to update firmware and stuff, and lets you just update the firmware straight from the command line, which is what everybody wants to do anyway. It's really cool. I used it to put the hover firmware on the drone, so maybe it's not cool. We don't know. But it seems to work, and I think that's just R2's hover feature that's kind of, questionable. Now let's see. DJ Roomba. This is a demo. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Woo, technology. All right, so this is a demo code of DJ Roomba playing Jingle Bells. It's pretty simple. It has the work loop, and they have him driving around in a circle, it looks like, right here. The Jingle Bells method is calling other methods, I think. Yeah, song. See, so I don't know what APIs Roomba exposes. So every different device that you connect to R2 is going to have its own API, so therefore it has its own methods, its own drivers and everything. But apparently Roomba ships with a musical API. So for anyone who wasn't considering buying a Roomba, this is the selling point. See the notes? You can code any song you want into this. Pretty cool. I just thought that was neat, and I wanted to show you guys that. And Robo. Large. Robo is a front-end app that's pre-built. It's built in Node. Not front-end, but it's a GUI. It's a GUI app. It's not a front-end app built in Node, Eric. Anyway, it's a GUI app built in Node, and it lets you control all of your connected devices through a graphical user interface. So that's kind of cool. I haven't gotten a chance to hook it up to this, but I have seen it working with other devices. And I just wanted to share that with you guys in case you were interested in that. And I think we are done. There are many more resources and demos out there, but these are the main ones that I would recommend checking out. Do you guys have any questions for me so far? Whoops. Yep.
Yeah, do you know like what you would use the API for? Like what would you use their API for?
You can send actual navigation commands as posts to the API, which is kind of sketchy but cool. Because I don't know if you can, I'm not exactly sure if there's a kill switch at that point. Once you send a post command, it's kind of just going to do whatever you want. But you can also digest all of the data coming from the drone, so that's probably more useful. So altitude, power, pitch, anything like that, you can just feed into whatever you're trying to do.
Thinking, like, what if you gave it like geolocation, or something?
You could probably code, you could probably code that and have something map that out and transfer it into commands that the drone's probably going to understand. I know some of the other drones, like the Parrot, might have advanced GPS capabilities, but this doesn't have a GPS on it at all, so I don't think you could access that directly. I think the 2.0, the Crazyflie 2.0, has a GPS on it, so that might be accessible from there. But as far as this is concerned,
Kind of like a live readout of data coming from
yeah, you can definitely do that from the API.
the altitude and
Yeah, you can do that with the log device connection that I showed you earlier too. And then you can feed that data into your program and adjust how it's flying from there. So that's what I was talking about earlier when I wanted to build something that kind of stabilizes it and hovers it accurately. That's what I was thinking. I would take the log data, stream it through, and then based on what's coming in, I would adjust the pitch and the power from there. Let's see. And I think that's about it. So, is that a question, Eric, or are you just stretching?
No, I'm stretching,
All right. Cool. Yeah, I didn't hurt anybody, so that's good. Sorry that was so drawn out. But like I said, do it live.
All right. And once Chris is done with his talk, pull out your tickets, because then I'll show my little JavaScript app thing that I did, because it does my work. No, I'm not doing the talk. I'm just going to show it. If you nerds want to see my code, I'll show you.
I make the talk quick if you like the talk time.
Oh, hell no. I already did it. It's done.
Oh, then do it again.
You funny? It's on YouTube. My talk is on YouTube. It's not kid approved though. So I had some F-bombs and some other.
You're never kid approved.
I actually do know how to be kid approved.
Developer approved.
I know how to be kid proof. I do have a 4-year-old nephew. Oh, you're fine.
Got a lot of stuff.
You do. It's like you moved in over here.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. There you go, my dear.
Yeah. Yeah, I see the green light.
Yep, you're good.
Right.
And then just plug it in.
Mm-mm. No.
No?
Nope.
Ah, ha, ha, you're doing one of those.
Yep.
All right. Yes, I can see it.
Right.
All right, you guys. So Chris is going to give an impromptu.
Yeah, my name's Chris Moore. I'm here at Cloud Space. I know probably you guys have seen me here working late as you've come in getting ready for the meetup and everything. I'll make this quick. Not even any slides or anything. It's just, little old me. It's not so much a talk or presentation. It's actually more of a call to action for you guys. But since it is a Ruby meetup, I actually have to talk a little bit about Ruby. We were in St. Augustine for a conference at the end of March, which is actually when Caitlin approached me to speak. Actually more stumbled because I think it was after like a round of absinthe. She's like, you guys should totally come talk. So, here I am because I was equally absinthed.
That is a true story.
So the keynote at the conference was a guy named Ernie Miller. And one of the things I took away from that was a point he made was, it feels really good to write Ruby. It feels good because you can create things with it. Everybody loves to code because you can create things. And I've been using some Golang lately, and was just done with a pure JavaScript project, and finally got back on Ruby. And God, did I miss Ruby! Right? It's one of the only languages that just gets the hell out of your way and lets you do what you want to do, right? Instead of so I was trying to do some sort of a shallow copy on a class after marshalling some JSON in Golang, and wound up going into IRB and then doing it in Ruby just to make myself feel better, because I couldn't figure out how to do it in Golang without some sort of a crazy generic interface class that then did all some other stuff. And I was just like, screw it, I can write some adder accessors, and oh look, it's beautiful, it's Ruby, it's awesome. The language got out of my way. So my love for Ruby showed me that I'm not just a programmer. You hear programming, you're like, oh, computer scientist, neckbeard, fedora, whatever. I write code, but it's not so much a programmer and I write code. I'm a Rubyist. I friggin' love writing Ruby. And it's not that I hate the other languages. I just like Ruby the best. It's the favorite child. And that was a great point that Ernie Miller made in his keynote talk. Was Ruby just gets out of here and lets you create things. But something else occurred to me at the conference was, this was my 3rd or 4th year attending, and earlier trips to the conference, I soaked up a lot of information. I was like, wow, all this stuff is really cool. It's resonating with me. I'm learning so much. But this last year, I was like, yeah, I know. One talk out of maybe 12, really hit something with me. I was like, wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's cool. I'm gonna, put that in my toolbox. It's actually database views. And start asking myself, am I getting smarter? Is the conference getting dumber? As you kind of go down that train of thought, you start to think, maybe it's time for me to get up and start talking. Instead of being in the audience and listening to these guys impart their knowledge on me, maybe it's time for me to get up and to start talking. So again, once, hey, you want to talk? Yeah, sure, let's do it. And I may not be the smartest guy in the room. I may not be the best coder in the room, but I can sure get up here and talk once the butterflies die down a little bit. And at the beginning of the night, Mike Miller got up here and asked everyone to come up and join the community. And I'm sitting over, that son of a bitch is going to give my talk without even knowing it. But what he didn't mention was why. Why should you get up here? Why should you be a part of the community? Because you're up here. You have an audience, a bunch of rapt faces just soaking it all in. You speak from a point of authority. You do this enough, people actually start to think of you as authority. I could sit up here and tell you the moon is made of cheese and the sky is green. You might know that the moon is not made of cheese and the sky is definitely not green, but there are people in there that will think that's true just because someone from authority said it. And until you get up here and disprove it, they're going to believe what I say. And you start to get some notoriety. People are like, hey, I know that guy. He's the green sky guy. He's the moon cheese guy. I see his name at conferences. I need to know what the moon's made of. I recognize this. He knows what he's talking about. So that's sort of why you want to get up here, is so people recognize you. People understand where you're coming from. You're sharing with them. Another takeaway from the keynote was, the keynote itself was Ruby after Rails. You know, you always hear these murmurings every couple of years. Rails is dying. You know, the framework is dead. You know, this is the new hotness that's going to replace Rails. But it was Ruby after Rails. What's going to happen to Ruby after Rails? Who cares? Ruby's going to be fine because Ruby has a brilliant community. Meetups here, meetups everywhere, meetups at the conferences. The gyms community itself, you know, you come across a problem and you're like, oh, how am I going to, oh, shit, somebody already made a gym for this. And then you can just go on and do something, right? A friend I work with, you know, every time we start, you know, soundboarding off each other, it's like we're not the first assholes to have this problem, right? And then you go look at Ruby gyms and you're like, yes, somebody beat me to it, right? But that's because the community is amazing. It's because we're here to help each other out. You know, the Rubyists are a community, just like we're a smaller subset of that community. So I mentioned a call to action. The call to action is, why aren't you up here? Dunning-Kruger imposter syndrome be damned. You know, I believe each and every one of you could get up here and give a talk. I'm not giving slides, I'm kind of spitballing most of this. I'm sure some of you could get up here and actually give something that would blow this away. But I'm killing 10, 15 minutes. You could get up here and actually do something better than saying, get your ass up here. So, as Mike Miller said, get up here, be a part of the community. Show us what you love and let us love it. That's very simply it. Just 10 minutes, just me saying, hey guys, let's all love each other. Everybody get up here. Why? So, you know, if anything you leave this talk with, just leave with, why aren't you up here? What's holding you back? Is it, you know, running into Caitlin drunk at St. Augustine? Because, you know, we could make that happen. Yeah. So, you know, just get up here. You know, maybe in the next month or two, I'll actually have something more Ruby related. But this was something I actually wanted to speak on. Was you know, I had that frame of mind coming back from the conference. Why aren't I up there giving talks? Why aren't I in that point of authority where people are listening to me? They will listen. Every face, except for that guy back there, is looking at me. You know, this is the green sky and the moon cheese moment. Get up here and tell people what color you think the sky is. That's all. Just ask yourself, when you leave here tonight, why aren't you up here? Thank you.
That was amazing.
That's what she said.
Whoa. All right, so you guys know those tickets? You may want to start getting those out. 528, 540. All right. I'm going to even be nice to you guys and show you guys my code. I know this is a meetup for Ruby, but... Okay. All right. Bear with me here. So for those who did actually come out for my JavaScript talk, which was a couple weeks ago, lovely Mike Miller decided to throw me under the bus. and convince. Thank you. So yes. Oh fuck. Sorry, YouTube. There's another F-bomb by me. So I decided to do it with everything else I have going on. So again. That's muted. No, why aren't you muted? Ah! Where?
What's going on?
You're so good. She did all that with JavaScript.
All right, so the volume was not. The volume was on YouTube, so, and not on my laptop. All right, now we're fixing this. Okay. So YouTube's gonna go bye-bye. Fuck, you can still hear me. Oh, hold on. It's stalled. It's stalled. So hold on. Maybe. Volume was on YouTube, so. Yes, it's stalled.
Are you talking to yourself?
She programmed AI with JavaScript.
No, it's still. What the hell?
This is why we can't miss
Why don't you just close Safari?
I can't. I am controlling YouTube. I'm streaming. Oh, hold on. It's stalled. It's stalled. So hold on. I did.
You're already in this.
It is. I mute. So I'm also running on 3. Okay.
Is there a mute?
Didn't work.
I can't. I have controlling YouTube. I'm streaming.
I love it. I love it.
YouTube is.
I was gonna say you are. Yeah, you're fine. If I were you, I'd keep arguing.
All right. So fuck it. We're gonna keep going.
Fix it, Connor.
Got that.
No, he's gonna turn the sound off.
Yeah, I'm saved. I don't have to listen to myself anymore. Woo! By the way, I actually legitimately do not watch the YouTube just because I to hear me speak. So, okay. So, this is it. I put in the first numbers I gave out tonight, and I put in the last number I gave out. And this is going to randomly pick the numbers. So just a real quick, just so you can see it. Hey, there it is. Let me make it bigger. There you go. I wrote code. In 3 weeks. And I actually understand it. So, there you go.
Poor job commenting.
Yes, thank you. Commenting was shitty, and oh, by the way, my semicolons are a hot mess. I got reamed on that at my meetup. So, all right, now on to the actual thing so we can get to beer. Because now I need one. All right. So, I forgot to tell you guys what everything is. So who's 535? That's the last 3 numbers. That's you. Look at you. All right, so these are the things. Let me grab the book. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Chris. All right, here's the book. All right, you ready? Book, T-shirt, or swag bag? Nobody has one on them? Okay, he's going to go grab it. It's literally a cloud space bag with sunglasses, a magnet, and a pen. But it's like a zippered kind of backpack drawstring thing. Ruby on Rails tutorial.
I'll take the book.
All right. He got the book.
Proxy.
Actually, That's fine. That's fine. Hey, once you get it in your hands, that's you.
I mean, do you need
Three.
three? Oh, perfect.
You did good. All right, who's 546? What would you like, my dear? What size are you? Large? Okay. Could you get me a large t-shirt?
Large, you got it.
Yay! All right, the rest are bags. 537. All right. Bag for you. Okay. See, I had to turn in my final yesterday, so I'm delusional. 539. Look at you. We do have people who wear these cosplays all the time. I get pictures randomly through Slack and everything of people wearing them. 540. You don't sound so excited. You're like, yes. All right, we're done. We're done. Over it. So let's make you stop streaming.